How's it going, doggy people? Hope you all are doing well. Got my camera back up so you can be taking a look at all of this while we're reacting. Somebody suggested that I look at this video, Dog Daddy versus Aggressive Mini Schnauzer. So we're going to be taking a look at this. As always, with any of the videos that I make reacting or reviewing, this is used under the Fair Use Act for educational purposes and critique purposes. I'm giving my opinion based on education, based on personal experience, based on common sense. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that you should not go see them. I don't recommend it, but I'm not going to say don't go watch these people. If you want to watch them, you want to follow them, you want to do their whole shtick, whatever, by all means, you're more than welcome to. You're free to do that. You do not have to watch my videos by any means. If you do want to, of course you're welcome to. I have training videos myself on my channel. I have a whole playlist for them. So by no means am I saying do not go after these people. Of course, don't go after them anyway. But don't go after them, but don't watch them as well. Recently, I got an email from YouTube that Robert Cabral did not like my last video on him. He thought that I was going against the fair use terms of service of YouTube, all that, saying that I basically just re-uploaded his video, which I did not. I actually transformed it very much so, turning a 10 or 15 minute video to 45 minutes with lots of talking in between and explaining things. So, just like with this, I'm giving my explanation, my opinion, telling you things that I might do differently. If you still don't like that and you still want to go and follow Dog Daddy, by all means go do it. So with that all out of the way, I'm not going to do this for every video. I just wanted to kind of get that out there, make that really clear. Let's stop talking and let's get watching. So starting here, we have a little Schnauzer, mini Schnauzer. I like his harness because I do actually have one very similar. And I like this type of harness because I believe if it's the one that I'm thinking of, it has 3 clips, one here, one on the other side, and then one on the other side of the neck. So you don't have to slide it over the dog's head. If you want to, you can unclip it and move it around and then clip it. Just for dogs who are a little bit head shy and not comfortable with that. So first off, we have another dog coming out. We have this little guy with a very short leash, and it looks like it was originally maybe a 6-foot leash and he put knots in it. And usually you can tell people who have trouble holding onto the dogs and they put knots in their leash. I don't like knots in the leash because I know how to handle a leash. I know how to let it slide out of my hand, take it out, take the slack out, all that. I understand for people who do use knots, to get more control, but then that's a band-aid, it's a crutch, that, it's a temporary fix. But if you're trying to hold on to your dog more, then we need to work on not putting our dog in that situation where we have to hold them back. For me, prevention is key. So I would never ask to see this behavior because I don't need to see the behavior ahead of time. I believe the client. Trust me, I believe you if you say your dog is reactive. I don't want to see this. I don't want to do it before and after. I don't need to see that because it's not necessary, because this dog here is still practicing this behavior. And this dog, being very good and very calm, is under some stress that may or may not be necessary. So this dog is on a tight choke chain. Don't like that. I just don't like them. I don't like choke chains. I don't like this whole setup anyway. I don't like this kind of greeting. Again, we're teaching this dog to pull, to be fearful, and the more that he pulls, the more reactive he's going to be because of opposition reflex. He feels trapped. He can't get away. So this dog actually isn't even in full control. Even with a choke chain, he's still staring at this dog, which is not helping. I'm not saying that this dog is at fault. Neither dog is at fault. It's a human situation. We put them in this position. So the dog's really not at fault. But this guy, just as a guide dog, worker dog, whatever, he's there to test this other guy's reactivity. He's not helping. He's not listening to her. He's really focused on this dog. So I would say you really need a dog that is more comfortable. I'm not saying that he needs to be a robot by any means. It's fine. He's being a dog. But we want him to be more comfortable to where he doesn't, either feel like he's threatened by this little guy or he feels like he needs to, he's more attentive to this little guy.
Walk away.
So you need to walk away. This little guy's pulling. Now this little dog could see that he got this dog to move away because of his barking and his behavior. We can't be for certain what this little dog learns, but we can kind of take a guess. So So now he's intimidated either by the camera and the person panning down at the dog, coming into the dog. I don't know if this dog is human reactive as well or just dog reactive. But he's, he also may be reacting to the dog walking away. So they do slow motion to show, Okay, so it's not quite the harness that I use. I mean, of course, it's perfectly fine. I'm glad they have this dog on a harness, especially smaller dogs and especially poolers, because it saves the trachea. All of this kind of, when they pull that hard, it still gets up into, the neck area. But just as an example of what I was talking about is that there's a third clip here on the type of harness I use for dogs that are a little head shy and you want to undo it and go around them. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this guy's, harness setup. That's just a little more explanation. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what all that was about. Of course, we have a teeny tiny little slip lead here that's like, the size of my headphones, basically. Even for a little dog like this, that's going to be very painful because, as you can see on my big old neck, it's pretty tight. It's pretty small, and it would be very painful if I had somebody. With as much leverage as he's going to have compared to this little dog. It's basically like, I'm not calling him a giraffe. I'm just saying that's the difference between, like, for me, if I had a giraffe or something as tall as that, for as small as this dog is in height difference. Okay, I'm not calling him a giraffe by any means. I'm just saying that's the height difference with that tiny little rope around my throat. And if he's, whatever strength he has, yanking and popping this dog on the throat. So I don't think you need to use any of this. The harness is perfectly fine. What I would have done in that situation is, as soon as we see the dog and the dog starts reacting or staring, I need to increase distance. So move the other dog away. And yes, if you hear noise, it's Hermes. If I see the other dog and this dog starts reacting, then I want to back away until this little dog can look at the dog, but not stare. And I can still say, like, his name, clickies, whatever, and get his attention. He can look at me and I can reward. That's when he's below threshold. That's where I want to work. And I want to continue doing that until I can say, oh, he can look at the dog and he chooses to look at me. He remembers, oh, let me look at you real quick because I got a reward last time. We want to keep doing that, building it up. And then we can decrease the distance between the other dog. A lot of the haters that come on this channel, yeah, I'm going to call you haters. They say, I've never seen you work with a dog. I have lots of videos. If you actually go through the video, I know they're long. So don't bother if you don't care. I explain what I do in every video. I don't just harp on these people and saying, oh, they're doing it wrong or blah, 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 or they're bad. There's no wrong way technically and no right way to train a dog. There's just necessary or rather humane and unnecessary or inhumane or less humane, whatever you want to call it. I don't think this slip lead ever is necessary with any dog. I mean, in training wise, okay, if you need to get them somewhere, if they're loose, yeah, there's exceptions to the rule, but I think the harness is fine. If you want to go see, I do train dogs. I do show how to walk loose leash. I have 2 different videos, and I talk about it in a lot of other videos, where I give you my whole spiel of how to walk a dog on loose leash. I do show videos of working with a reactive dog, Zeus. So if you want to go look at that, you can look in the reactivity of the playlist.
He's becoming insecure with all the changes. So that's pretty much what I see based on what it told me. And his breed and his age is a combination of those 2 things. So what you gotta do is...
So I'm not quite sure what he's saying, but all I hear, it's kind of quiet, but what I heard was, his breed and his age, okay? So he could be young. His age can have something to do with it, where he's young and cocky. He's a miniature Schnauzer. They're just, no matter the size, the Schnauzer is just a very proud dog. They're, they have prey drive, they're terrier-like, they just go, go, go. Little dog complex, big dog in a little body. And, also his age, he's young, so yeah, understanding that, but that doesn't mean that no age or no specific breed needs certain type of training. I have a Shiba Inu that I can prove that this type of training made it worse. And positive reinforcement is what he required and demanded, and he got that.
Come down a little bit, and then number 2 is socializing. I'm gonna try to get into. So
socializing, it's a good point that he brings that up, that this dog may not be socialized, which is true. Socializing does not mean that your dog has to make friends with other dogs. A lot of people think proper socialization is your dog playing with as many dogs as they can. Some other trainers and people have said they want your dog, by the time they're 16 weeks old, to meet 100 people and 100 dogs. I don't know about you, but I'm not going out in public to meet 100 different people, 100 different dogs. I'm fine to meet the dogs, but I don't care to meet that many people. I'm an introvert. I'm very nervous. I'm very shy. I don't care to meet and make friends with 100 different people. And neither should your dog have to. It's not a requirement. For me, proper socialization is, yes, meeting other people, but going into different sights, sounds, smells, walking on concrete versus a wet puddle versus this dirt over here, sniffing this wood, or if this plank were to fall, or the metal sound of that door. That's socializing, preparing your dog for real life things. Depending on where you live, you can be living out in the sticks somewhere, and then you move into the city. You can learn that. I'm going to try and, we're certainly not going to be watching this whole 33-minute video. I'm going to try and move a little quicker through it, because then we would literally be here for like 3 hours. So
you need to do something that you can get his attention a little bit better. There's one technique that when I...
So he's going to be using the slip lead. I'm going to kind of fast forward to where he's working with it. I'm going to tell you that he's probably going to be telling the owner you get more control with the slip lead, which is true. As you can see right here, it's high up behind his head. It's tight. It's uncomfortable. You have more leverage here. You want to pull less. That's why so many trainers use the slip lead, because it's easy. You slip it on. You don't have to have buckles or anything to adjust. And it tightens around the dog. It's a choke leash, just like a choke chain or a choke collar. They have like cloth collars and all that. Unnecessary in my opinion, and dangerous, because, depending on how harsh you use it, or how long you use it, or how you use it, or a lot of different scenarios, your dog can get injured. So this dog is already looking over here, and this whole time they've been talking, he's been staring over here. He's been reinforced for looking over here. So I would be working on backing away, walking backwards and trying to get his attention. And if he didn't want to follow me, then I would say, okay, we need to literally move back a few more steps this direction to get the dog to get him under threshold. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I wake up Adonis when I do that. So that was unnecessary. That was, in my opinion, cruel. Unnecessary. You ambushed the dog. You corrected him. You caused pain. You caused discomfort. You didn't need to do that. But because we don't have standards, because we don't have licenses, you can do this, and it's perfectly fine. I don't agree with that. If you want to do this with your dog. But it's unnecessary. As I explained earlier, what I would have done, I wouldn't do this. Lip lick. Oh, as if that's not enough. Then you got to go tap him on the side. You're going to make this dog hand shy, afraid of you, doing the Caesar Milan thing. Try it again. We're going to watch again. Ouch. And the dog walks away. Avoidance. He tries to pull away, but he can't because the leash hurts, and so he's trying to fight it.
So it's, hey, leave it.
Again, he just steps in. The dog moves away because of fear. The dog will only listen to this guy, not his owner. Unless his owner does this. Then he will have less trust with his owner. I'm just telling you. That's my opinion. Is that, I mean, I'm not going to say anything is like obviously for certain. There's no, absolutes in anything. But, I mean, come on. It's common sense. Like, the owner would have to be as harsh with this dog as this guy is. And you get the behavior, and you get everything that comes with it. Lack of trust, more fear, maybe more reactivity.
So I already did he already responded.
So he's avoiding looking at this dog. Hey, it took one and done. What's the matter with that? If you want to do one and done, have at it. I just don't think you're going to have a good relationship with your dog if you do it. 1, it's unnecessary. 2, it's painful. And 3 and 4 and 5, it's unnecessary.
I get closer to other dogs. Because his demeanor changes when I do that. He's no
yeah, see how fast he's breathing now? We can't because I paused it, but he's breathing, he's avoidance, he's not staring. You could have easily taught him another behavior without having to cause this kind of mental shutdown to teach him to not look at the other dog.
Not caring that I'm talking to him, he's now kind of expecting that I'm gonna say something.
No, he's not respecting that you're going to say something. I mean, you could have taught him that earlier, that you talking shouldn't be ignored, or like maybe don't talk, and then just kind of give him rewards for certain words. They ignore us all the time anyway. I've been talking so long, Adonis ignores it unless he hears his name, where I, go, tell him something directly, which, he may or may not do. So now, not only is he listening to him, he's not listening necessarily to what he says, he's listening to his body. He's watching his body. He comes in, he says, oh, now this guy's talking to me. The snap, the whole energy, you're just correcting him. Your body language is aggressive. Your snap is aggressive. Your is aggressive. Why are you correcting him? He was just standing there. If you want him to sit, you can ask him to sit. I mean, you don't need to just go automatically correct him because he's not sitting. He doesn't know what you want.
See, when I do this,
Intimidating with the finger, pointing in, looking down, very predatory.
he's looking at me. So I gotta gain this type of...
Be very aware. This dog is very capable of causing serious damage to anyone. Okay? Just because they're small does not mean that they are not powerful.
response from him.
But we can get away with it because they're dogs, because we've genetically modified them to work well with humans. We've, kept them in the state of mind that they're still very young compared to a lot of wild animals, such as the wolf, because everybody compares them.
Some respect, so that when there's a dog and he gets worked up, he will surely...
He's breathing faster. He's avoiding. Mouth is closed. Little lip lick there.
Leave it. So I'm telling him leave it and doing this.
So he's still watching.
See,
Okay, that was unnecessary. He was still watching the dog, and then as soon as he moves his hand in the leash, he looks at him. He could have rewarded. He could have gotten his attention. He doesn't have to correct him. If he got his attention once, and if he did this once, I still would say it's unnecessary. But if that was all he needed to do, and then from then on he used, rewards and treats, or at least gave the dog a chance, I would be more okay with him. But he doesn't. I mean, he literally just hangs dogs, swings them around, chokes them around, and says, hey, I'm helping dogs.
The moment he looks a little bit intense, I'm already doing that little touch.
Ouch.
This
Unnecessary.
is like,
Ouch.
Enough, and then when it's not enough, I'm going to use that touch over there because it's more effective.
So, dragging this dog on this little leash is not effective enough. He's going to use the touch because that's more effective. That's a good way to get yourself bitten, just like Cedar Milan. It's a good way to make the dog very sensitive. This dog looks like he's groomed regularly. So, kudos on the owners for keeping him nice and, groomed. I mean, he doesn't have mats or anything in him. So, good luck with the groomer being able to touch him again after this, because he may snap at them. And I have a whole thing about big box groomers and everything like that anyway, about how rough they are with dogs anyway. That's a whole different story for a different day. Not everyone. If I ever say this, I'm never going to say that every groomer or every trainer or every owner or every whatever, okay? If I do, please catch me and tell me, because that's not what I mean. I don't mean all. I will never say anything that is everything. There's always exceptions to the rule. And this is just my opinion.
But this pressure...
Ow, ow, ow. So he's dragging him so he can do the little maneuver.
Choose that touch over there because it's more effective. But this pressure...
Drag, drag, drag.
No.
Walk into him. I don't know what the point of that was. This dog looks like it might be trembling. I can't tell.
But as
Ay. Dog looks yanks.
into this stage and we get him to actually interact with other dogs, he's going to warm up and become more comfortable.
This is not how you get him to interact with other dogs. This is how you get a dog fight to start. Because he is fearful of them, you're going to have to drag them over there. This is not how you socialize a dog. This is how you make him fearful of other dogs and see the dog as the bad thing. And then you push them into the other dog, or you force the butt sniff, or you do whatever. And then one day he will have enough and he will go after the dog, and he will either be killed, he will injure the other dog, he will redirect on somebody involved. This is not how you socialize dogs. And if your dog happens to go through this kind of thing and they make a friend, great. You're lucky. It will eventually run out. This is not how you socialize other dogs. You don't socialize them on leash. Anyway, in my opinion, I think it's dangerous because there's too much, the pressure can make them reactive. They feel trapped. My Shiba doesn't care to make friends with other dogs. I've never forced him to. That's okay. A lot of dogs don't care to make friends with other dogs or every dog they see. Do you want to make friends with every single person you see? I don't. I mean, especially if it's a rude dog, or a rude person, or I'm an introvert. I don't like people just running up in my space. I mean, can I have my days where I'm, more energetic and I want to say hi? Sure. But everybody has their days just like dogs. They don't need to make friends with everything they see. What I teach my dogs and my clients, yes, I do have clients, Again, for the haters. Sorry, I'm going to try and stop harping on them. I'm not going to focus on haters, okay? Positivity. When I'm working with clients and any dogs anywhere, I try to teach them just tolerate other animals. I want you to be comfortable in their environment. You don't have to make friends with them. You also don't need to feel the need to like attack them. Just tolerate them. You know, trust the person that you're with. Trust the human you're with, and hopefully they're what they trust with their human.
Then he's not going to be angry. It's not just a matter of correcting.
He talks about then he's not going to be angry. It's not just a matter of correct. It is with him, unless I misheard that.
No trainer was able to have him not barking as he sees the dog eating.
Yeah, well, no, this is nothing. We're going to get my dog very close to him.
So it sounds like he was saying his old trainer was able to get him to look at dogs, not bark, and not react. I don't know if the old trainer used this method or not. It seems like they may have been taking a slower route, which is better for the dog. Slow way is the fast way. But this guy says, no, we're not going to do that. We're actually going to get your dog next to another dog. We're going to get him close. And so that gives this guy false hope that your dog will make friends. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that you're going to scare the dog. He's going to shut down. And he will still be next to dogs, but it doesn't mean anything. It just means that he can stand next to another dog. But who cares how the miniature Schnauzer actually feels about it?
The whole thing is the approach.
So he gets excited by being next to Dad. He's still correcting. I don't know why.
That you almost like as a escape that we're not going to do that. Don't reward him in this type of situation because
don't reward him in this type of situation. The worst thing you can do is not reward him for this. He needs comfort. He doesn't need this guy holding on to him. Dad here is a draw to the dog, and so he's going to want to pull towards him, and he's going to correct him. So we're going to kind of go a little bit further and see how close. Okay, so he's already dragging the dog. So we have this German Shepherd back here.
Your dog is going to be more uncomfortable with a dog that is like more forward and trying to play with him versus one that's just laying down.
Ouch!
And
Okay, so she just corrected this dog with a harsh pop, maybe because he's whining, and so then he lays down.
You know, compared to my
Ouch.
dog. And
Correction.
Your dog is going to be more uncomfortable
Trying to sniff.
with a dog that is like more forward and trying to play with him versus
Sniff.
one that's just
Ouch!
laying down.
Correction.
Not
He
having
lays
that
down.
blade
Wow.
energy.
Lip lick.
Now
So he's still a little bit nervous. Of course, he's trained by him, so great control on that dog. This dog is completely avoiding him, looking to Dad for comfort. This dog is still whining, and she's still correcting. So here, I could be rewarding this dog. The owners could be rewarding this dog. Hey, good job, you're looking away. He's actually doing avoidance behavior. He's panting, his squinty eyes, his ears are kind of back, listening to everybody. His tail is still up. These dogs a lot of times have a very high, tall tail.
It's stage one. Now you keep
So it's still tension there. Ow, and then he drags him to him. Again, the stupidest thing you could do, in my opinion. He is already still nervous, so she's fighting with this dog to keep him under control. He's dragging him over. I would rather just this dog ignore him. He doesn't need to make friends with this dog. For me, unless the dog is going to be living in the situation with another dog, don't worry about them making friends. Don't worry about them sniffing. They can just, unless they show interest, they can just mind each other's business.
Now, if she gets up, he may walk again because he gets scared. Because that's what I'm telling you. He needs to
So again, correction, which really doesn't mean anything to this dog because he's probably used to it.
So we want to see what he does.
He might be on a prong collar now. Oh no, it's still a choke chain. God. Ouch. Fixing slip lead. Why did he do that? Let's go back and watch. I was distracted by the German Shepherd. So this guy is sitting here. He's nervous. He feels trapped. He doesn't want to go into this dog when he sits up. So if you loosen your leash, you could just let him figure it out. He's not going to get into this other dog's face. But he comes over, lip lick, terrified of this guy, drags him over. I don't know why.
Good boy.
Walks him across. Wow, the good boy. The good boy means nothing to him now.
Bye.
Okay, there he showed a little bit of actual interest, and then he corrected him and pulled him away and lip lick. So.
And he's warming up to the fact that she is here. Good.
Yeah, a little bit more
He
interest.
needs to have this type of experience of going to know the audience.
Ouch!
Okay.
Again, every time that German Shepherd whines because he's like, dude, I want to say hi. Pop. And they're going to say, he's never been this close to another dog, or whatever it may be, and to them they think this is amazing, this is a miracle. It's not. It's because of a slip leash, because of harsh punishment, and because you're literally just forcing the dog near another dog who's also being punished and forced to be there.
It just makes it a little bit easier, but I'm not using anything like, you know, super special to train them.
Yeah, no doubt you're not using anything special. You're just using a noose, basically. You're using a slip lead that tightens around this dog's tiny, little neck. It's tiny. It's painful. When this dog tries to fight it, it chokes him. He can't breathe, and it hurts, so he moves into it. That's it. That's how it works. Ouch.
So see how he tries to avoid her? Which is okay for now because that's just but at the same time he's
That's okay. That's good interest.
So,
You don't need to necessarily correct her. She wants to sniff. I mean, if anything, call him away before if she wants to go say hi. I mean, it's not fair to put her as shark bait so that he can come sniff her.
it's good.
Okay, face to face. Ouch, ouch. They go face to face. His fault for keeping this dog too close to her. Pops, pops. The dog says, okay, avoidance. The dog can learn to be more aggressive because of this. The dog can say, when I was around her, I got hurt, so I either avoid, or if I'm forced to be there, I'm going to attack. Ouch.
And he,
Poor
whenever
thing.
he's trying to
Ouch.
engage, it's a really good thing.
Ouch.
Kind of watch his
Ouch. Poor
saying,
thing.
like she wants to play and he's actually doing really
Ouch.
good for that.
Yeah, she wants to play, and she keeps correcting this want to play. Eventually, that can, not saying it will, it can turn into aggression, because they get frustrated enough. And we all know this dog can easily take any of them out. If it wanted to, it could go after this dog. Of course, she's not going to.
And he's relaxed. He's not tense anymore. Now he just kind of like wanted to be nice.
I wouldn't say he's relaxed. He's relaxing. He's like a little more relaxed, but he's like, I'm between a rock and a hard place. Trying to avoid constant correction. That was better. See, he went to go pet him. The dog thought it was a correction, so he turned his butt away. He's already made him hand shy to the rear end of his body. Good job. Bravo.
See how he almost like
Ouch. God, she's correcting this poor little dog.
he doesn't want to give his back because it's a little bit uncomfortable.
He doesn't want to give his back to you, dude. Not the dog.
You know, you have to see like, which is normal because he hasn't been around other dogs. But at the
I
same
think you personally, I think you'd be fine leaving his back to the dog. He doesn't want to give it to you, dude.
he's curious about her. He's really
Yeah. So this dog can't even lay down with her head down. She's correcting her so much. There was lip lick. There was a cut there because this dog looked like they wanted to paw him. Like, playing.
Check it out.
Bends down, tries to paw, and they cut. So what happened? Did he correct her? Or I mean the dog? Did he correct the dog? Did she correct the dog? Did he correct him? There was a cut, and then there was petting this dog. Okay, so paw comes in, he's way over there, and then we have a cut, and he's right here. What happened between that cut? That was a very purposeful cut on their end, I believe.
Boy. See, I'm gonna watch to see it.
Ouch!
Good boy.
She's trying to get attention, and she keeps correcting
You need to have
her.
this type of experience.
Confusing signals. If I were him, I would be like, hey, quit correcting her. Let her sit there. She's fine.
I want to put him, around other dogs to see how he's gonna do with more dogs.
So now he's here. He seems a little more comfortable. Little sniff.
He needs to
Be
learn.
careful with the
When she goes,
face-to-face
she's
sniff.
down,
Because look at how he's standing. He's very wide, very unsure, very, bow-legged. And for people who know mini schnauzers, I may be wrong. Maybe this is more of a challenging type stance. I don't know.
Unsure about what's gonna happen. Hey, Platz.
She wants any kind of attention she can get from him because she doesn't get it otherwise. All she gets is correction. So any little pet, she's like, oh my god, this is the best day ever.
Boy. But each time he has a good experience, it makes it better for him for the next time. It prepares him. Because if she was off leash, she's gonna be trying to play with him, and he's interested. He's just unsure. This is why I have to be ready.
So this is, yeah, he's next to another dog. Did it need to be this way? I don't think so. He didn't need to do that to get him to this position.
He's just a dog that wants to treat and doesn't bark at anything, doesn't have any issues.
Give him 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I
So they're talking about hey, in 10 minutes you got him next to another dog. Because of this slip lead, because of force, because we didn't give the dog an option. We didn't go at the dog's pace, we went at the human's pace. That's why.
There's a lot of good trainers for the obedience part know, maybe it's just like
He always talks about, not he always talks about, this type of trainer, compulsion trainer in my opinion, always talks about treat trainers are good for obedience. And that's it. They can't help with behavior and reactivity. I can. I use treats. I don't use this. I don't use any of that. I work with dogs, the bite history. I work with reactivity. I specialize in it. Fearful, feral dogs. Yes, obedience. Puppies. I do it all. And I use treats, and I don't use any of this, and it takes time. That's why I have people who send me emails saying that, hey, I have a dangerous dog, and it's trying to attack my roommate's dog, and we have to keep them separate. And I had a trainer, but they moved to Ohio, and they did a board and train. It was awesome. And they asked for my opinion on balanced training and board and trains, and I give them my opinion, and I tell them honestly. I don't hear back from them. 3 months later, hey, I saw your website. They forgot they emailed me in the first place saying, I saw your website. I have a dangerous dog. From the last email, it's getting worse. They lost their trainer because, again, they're in Ohio. Their roommates say, you need professional help. The roommate's dog ends up in stitches. But because they have that biased confirmation that it worked out with this type of training, it worked out at a board and train. My dog went and came back and worked beautifully. They don't question what went on there. They just see it. They have confirmation bias. It works for them, and they want to keep with it, and they don't realize that it's damaging to the dog. And so simply because I use treats, and I don't use this or e-collars, and I don't believe in that, and I tell them my honest opinion about it, they don't even bother saying, okay, no, thank you. They just ignore it, move on to the other trainers, even though nobody else in this area specializes in that. They've been through 7 other trainers, ask them for help. They don't do that for a good reason. And they still just come to me and, oh, nope, you still use treats? No, I'm still going to put my dog at risk. My dog's life is at risk. My roommate's dog is at risk. Okay. I'll still be here.
anyone can teach obedience. Like if you
That was just a
wanted to
personal,
like to do it,
personal little tangent. And he's still talking about anyone can teach obedience. You can teach any dog anything using this kind of method. It is easy. I say it over and over again. It is easy to suppress behavior using violence, using aggression, using tools that cause pain, intimidation, fear. It's easy because these animals don't fight back. And when they do, we use harsher, more aggressive techniques. So I'm not even going to watch the whole thing. I may skim through it a little bit more, but I feel like it's not going to be any different than what he's already doing. So, okay. So here he is okay, so perfect. So he's setting them up in public where this dog is already on a tight leash. We got this little guy lagging behind. They're walking. He's not ready. He's getting choked. He's getting hurt. It's just making him more frustrated. Sees another dog. So what he does is he floods the dog by putting him in public and has them walk with multiple dogs over and over and over again so he can flood the dog and say, nope, this is not. We work for corrections. That's what they do. Trainers like this, and I mean, some trainers, I'm not necessarily saying him, but I don't know. Some trainers, I feel like they almost have like a sadistic side where they enjoy just correcting an animal. And a lot of them think they're doing right. Everybody wants to help an animal. Nobody gets into this because they want to hurt animals. But then they become so blind to it that they refuse to see. There are none so blind as those who refuse to see. In the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. So because he gets results, people are going to follow him because they're desperate. I've been there before. I've been desperate, but I still changed my mind because I stuck to my morals and said, I stuck to my gut and said, this is not right. And so I learned. And maybe these people will do the same. I don't know. My dog forced me to learn because this didn't work on him. It made him more aggressive, more reactive. This is just unnecessary. So he's just going to be here working with them more. I know the person who wanted me to react to this, I'm sure they wanted to see like more of the footage that I watch, but with him, I'm just kind of done, I'm kind of, with him anyway, it's just, I don't have much more to say. Like, he's just going to keep, I can't see him just like fling a little dog across the road every time he pulls on its leash. So, I hope you learned what you could learn out of it. Hopefully I wasn't talking too long, but we'll see. There was a lot of tangents in there. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it in some way. I hope you can learn from it. Let me know what you would like to see next time. And until then, stay positive.